Hi guys, one of the main advantages of using WordPress Alpha is that we are working with DigitalOcean. We integrate with DigitalOcean and we have it set up that you can deploy servers or droplets with DigitalOcean within the WordPress Alpha app, okay? And what it's going to do as well, it's going to take the sort of minimum configuration, which costs basically $5 per month per server, or per droplet as they call it. They call the servers droplets. Now DigitalOcean have got 8 different cities that they're working with the servers, okay? They've got servers in 8 different cities worldwide, okay? They've got San Francisco and New York and Amsterdam, Frankfurt, London, etc. Within those 8 cities there are actually 12 data centers, okay? So New York, for example, has got 3 data centers, okay? So some cities have got more than one. That gives them a total of 12 data centers. So we can, in effect, build a private blog network, for example, in 12 different locations very, very quickly and very, very easily. Okay. In fact, it would take you 12 clicks to create those 12 different locations, the servers in those different locations that you can work with, and each server you can deploy multiple sites on. Okay, now the best way to do this, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. First of all, we would, if you're building a private blog network, what you would do is you would put one domain into each. That's going to cost you about $60 per month, okay, which is not that bad going forward for 12 sites in a PBN network, okay, but we can make it much better. And this might be a little bit controversial for some people, but I think it's going to be perfectly fine. What we can do is we can put another 12 domains into those 12 servers, okay? And what we do this time, instead of using a Namecheap API or GoDaddy API, which is what we work with for domain registrars within WordPress Alpha, what you do this time is we work with Cloudflare, which is another API. There's 4 APIs that we're working with: DigitalOcean, Cloudflare, Namecheap, and GoDaddy. Okay, 3 of those can determine what IP you're going to be working with. Okay, so what we can do then is we can use Cloudflare to create different IPs with the second set of 12 domains. Now you might not need to even do 12 different domains. Maybe 4 or 6 is going to be enough to give you a private blog network of 14, or of 12 or 16 or 20, up to 24. I wouldn't do more than 2 on each server. Okay, one IP4 Class C IP from your domain registrar, and another one which is going to be an IP6, what they call an IP6 Class C IP, which is going to come from Cloudflare. Okay, it's a little bit risky, but I think it's going to be okay depending on how you use the PBN, your network. Okay, there will be a course coming for that pretty soon, after we have finished the current course that we're working on right now, which is for product launch promotions, launch jacking mini sites basically, which is turning into be quite an epic course, and it's really exciting. It's actually kind of fun putting that one together. Anyway, back to this. Now, having those 12 hosts gives us that opportunity that we can build a PBN network safely, I think, in my opinion, up to 24 sites. You might want to go less. Even 12 is good, okay, for a lot of niches, depending on how good your expired domain is, how well you have chosen your expired domain. If you don't know how to find expired domains, you can find people that sell them on places like Fiverr.com. If you're going to buy from people who are providing that kind of service on Fiverr.com, make sure that you do check their reviews first before you buy anything there. I like to use one of my tools, and one of my tools is basically a simple little tool called VidSpy Alpha. Okay, now VidSpy is a tool that will go and search for broken links in YouTube and Dailymotion, and we really need to be adding some more platforms onto there as well, because there's some great opportunities that we can use for local business directories, that we can use for Pinterest and other social media sites like Instagram and places like that as well, that we can find, you know, expired domains. Now if I come over to the last one that I did in here, what you can see is if I sort this out by the domain authority, you can see all these in blue are social media sites like LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, blogger.com, etc., etc. And if I start to scroll down a little bit, and we start to come into the greens, okay, now the greens are all domains that you can purchase, okay, that's domains that are available now. We found the broken links inside YouTube, and we can go and, basically register these domains, okay, and we're getting some basic information back. We can see what the domain authority is, we can see what the page authority is, we can even see the Moz rank if I bring this over, and we can see how many links, okay, which is kind of important. Now, if I come down here and I'm saying like this domain here, getlistgrow.io, it's got 357 links, it's got a Moz rank not that great, okay, I might not want that, but if I just right click on this and open it, what will happen is it will show me that there's no domain there, and because I've got this special tool installed on my Google Chrome browser. This is a Chrome extension. It's from a company called SERPworks. Now, SERPworks cost, I think, about $9.99 per month or something like that, and it gives you SEO metrics from SEMrush, from Moz, from Majestic. And not only that, what happens is when you click on one of these, you can see it's going to open this up, and we can go to the on page area here, and you can get SEO metrics if a site is already up, okay. But if you're using it for expired domains, the best information you're going to get is from Moz, okay, initially. And you can see in here, you can sort it by the page authority, domain authority. And you can also see as well, if I just close this quickly, the spam score from Moz. And it just gives you that initial indication whether the domain is worth looking into more or not. The first thing I like to look for here is whether we have got a good ratio of the amount of domains linking to the home page to the amount of total links. So you can see here there's 357 links coming from 48 different domains. That is a decent ratio, okay? That is a ratio that we can work with, that we can benefit from. So this one is definitely worth looking into. Now, what I was doing with this particular search was looking for keywords related to solo ads. Now, the benefit of working with VidSpy Alpha, for example, is if I click in here to edit, you can see that I can put in multiple keywords in bulk all at one time, and it's super fast, this tool. The only drawback that we have with this is something that is just starting to happen now, is that Moz are limiting the API calls, okay? So the best way to use this is to have multiple Moz accounts with free API keys, but unfortunately it means that you need to register with a credit card. It will never take money from your credit card. What they are doing is they're simply limiting the amount of people using their free API keys by making them register with a credit card. Okay, they do not take any money from your credit card, so you really need to create multiple Moz accounts to get the best out of this tool. Otherwise, you get limited to maybe 3 or 4 searches with the VidSpy Alpha before you need to use a different API for that particular month, okay? I think they give about 2,500 API calls per month. Now, the API calls are only being done for anything that is in green or in blue here, okay? In green and in blue, you can see it's telling you how many links. And we want it for the blue ones as well, for the social networks as well, because we're finding some great Instagram accounts, great Twitter accounts, Tumblr accounts that we can use that have got a lot of backlinks, okay? They've got some good page authority, for example, and we really want to be able to utilize them if we want to, okay? And some of these as well, we can see how many views they had. For example, this video that was uploaded, it's got a broken link from Instagram. That Instagram account is available, okay? And this has had, what, 200, wow, how many is that? 2, 3, 3, 4. Wow, that's almost, that is 23 million, almost 24 million views for that one video. So you can actually go and take that expired Instagram account and you can redirect it, okay? And you can see as well that it's got some links, but we don't know how many links. If I just open that, we can open this one as well and get some data. Actually, I've clicked on the wrong button. I need to click here for the actual broken link. Just open that broken link. No, it's not giving me. It used to give me for Instagram. It's not giving me anymore. Anyway, you can see this for Twitter and places like that as well. And it's actually very, very useful for being able to pick up some social networks that you can use for the purpose of creating some pretty powerful Web 2.0 sort of networks, if you like, which you really need to, verify with telephone and as well, which you can get now, some apps that actually work with that. Okay, there's actually some apps you can get from the App Store that will verify with different phone numbers in different countries for you. It's so easy to do. Again, we will cover that in the PBN course when I do it. Okay, so let's get back into the PBN stuff. So this is how I find my expired domains, and when we come in here, you can see like this. If I wanted to get a domain, let's have a look at one more, then it's not that hard for me to find something that is really specific within YouTube. That's the benefit of using YouTube and Dailymotion for finding those expired domains. We often will not see very good trust flow. Okay, what I've started to notice, even with some websites that I've put in, or some domains that I put into Easy Blog Networks, where I've got an account now with, I think, about 40 or 50 domains in there. I haven't been doing fresh content in there. Because I haven't been doing fresh content, the trust flow has come right down with some of those. Okay, it's come right down. So we need to make fresh content, regular fresh content, and there's ways that we can do that. We can automate that. It's so easy to do, but it's something that's picked up. So we're never ever going to see a lot of trust flow and stuff. We need to rely on the Moz data from VidSpy Alpha. But this one you can see is actually quite a decent domain as well, apart from one thing. It's got a spam score of 9 out of 18, which means don't touch it. Okay, if you want to touch it, something like that, to get 200 links coming from 52 domains, which is actually a very, very good ratio of domains providing those 200 links, is like 25% of the links are coming from different domains. You could use that for a 301 redirect, but not to a website. Okay, you would do that maybe to a tier 1 blogger post or something like that on blogspot.com, or you could even do it to a YouTube video. Okay, and let that sort of boost the YouTube video, where it's perfectly safe, where those platforms like Blogger, Pinterest, even a Quora answer, it works with. Okay, they can absorb these kind of backlinks and that kind of link velocity, because what happens when you do the 301 redirect is it will redirect all of those links that are coming in, so not all of them, but 90% of those links that are coming into that particular domain to wherever you want the redirect to happen to. And how do we do that? We use another plugin that we've created called Expired Domain Redirection. Okay, so to build a PBN in 4 clicks using WordPress Alpha is super simple. You have a click to deploy the host. Let's just come back over here, and then you have a click. If I click on the settings here to add the site. Okay, so you put your site details in here, and that would be a second click to launch your site when you put your domain info in there. If you're using Expired Domain Alpha, you're going to choose the Expired Domain Alpha template from here. Okay, and you would launch your site. So that would be your second click. The third click is going to be, once your site is deployed, you can go into the Manage Site Settings. Okay, and when you're in the Manage Site Settings, let me just see, I've got an error here. I'm just going to Manage Site Settings in this one. You would go into the DNS settings. Okay, in the DNS settings, you can see this one's already done. Okay, and you can change if you want later as well. Okay, now all you do there, if you've got your API set up, is you would make a click. That would be your third click, so that you have got your domain there. And then once you have done that, you can go into your website. You can see a website that I've built out here. Now this website was built out using another one of my plugins. It's called Expired Domain Alpha. Expired Domain Alpha will rebuild any site from archive.org, from Wayback Machine. If I just go into WP Admin here, I'll show you. Into WP Admin, we can log in. And when we're in here, you can see we've got all these different discovered URLs. What's actually happening here is that when you actually activate the Expired Domain Alpha plugin, you get automatically all of these different snapshots appear for that particular domain, and only for that domain. You cannot do this for other domains, only for this domain that you're adding in here. Okay, And you can choose one of these. You can preview the snapshot. You have to give it a couple of seconds sometimes, and you can see here when we do that the site starts to appear the preview. Okay, and we can look down. I need to make this bigger actually. I need to get my coder to make this bigger and easier to see. And you can see it's got quite a nice plain design. But when we rebuild that domain, it's going to look exactly like it does in the snapshot. Okay, if we scroll down, you can see it's built exactly like it shows in the snapshot. And this gives us the opportunity that we can put in some links. Now, the key here is that we don't add links immediately. Okay, we have to leave it, let it age a little bit, a few weeks. 6 to 8 weeks is ideal. And the idea here is that we just keep a revolving bunch of domains coming in. Because if you think about it, if you want to build a PBN network and you build 24 sites all in one day, all registered in one day, it's going to look a little bit suspicious, yeah? So what you want to do is just build it up. Do a couple every week, 3 or 4 max every single week. That way it's affordable, that way it's manageable, and that way you can have that rotation happening where you are just finding domains. And I keep the VidSpy running, pretty much 4 or 5 times a week on multiple computers, and I've just got a whole bunch of these running all the time. When I get an idea, I just jot it down in Google Keep, and then what I do to go and find the keywords that I'm going to add in it is super simple. I just go to Upper Suggest, which is a great tool, free tool, and I'll show you why it's really special for this, specifically to work with VidSpy Alpha. If I put in here for WordPress SEO plugin, okay, WordPress SEO plugin, I'm just going to click on the search in here. And this is a free tool from Neil Patel. Okay, now what happens here is it's going to give me the keyword ideas if I scroll down. Now if I go into view all the keyword ideas, I click on this, you can see here we got suggestions and we got related. If you stay in the suggestions, it's going to give you only with that particular keyword phrase in the keyword itself, in the phrase itself. Okay, so I've got WordPress SEO plugin. Every single one of these has got WordPress SEO plugin. Okay, broad match in here. So you can see I've got 171 keyword ideas. I copied the clipboard, and then I come back and I'm going to do this time WP SEO plugin, and I will click to search. So we click on this to search, and it's going to find a whole bunch more. You can see I've got another 119 keyword ideas, and all I would do is come into VidSpy Alpha, add a new project, and I'm going to put up here WordPress SEO plugin, and I can do hundreds of these at one time in one click. It's literally that easy to do. It's really that simple to do. If I just come back over again into Neil Patel's site to go to Upper Suggest, I can copy that next 119 keywords, and I put that in here as well. And all it's going to do is going to use those keywords to do searches on YouTube and Dailymotion. If you choose both, you can see here. You can sort it by relevance, minimum views, etc. I just leave it like this, and I don't even delete the ones that are not available. And when I add the project, it's added, and then all I need to do is to click here to start searching, and it will go off and start to do the searching for me. Now I've already got one working right now for over here for this WordPress SEO. You can see it's still working away there. It's now searching Dailymotion. So I'm not going to do that one right now, but I have it queued up now to do as many, to do the next one. And you can do this multiple times a day with using that. Okay, so let's come back over to into our snapshot area here. So we know how to find a snapshot that we're going to work with. So say for example I want this August 2015 snapshot that you can see here. Okay, what I can do is I can choose the day and just choose here 2015 August 2015 August, and just leave it like that. Okay, and click on retrieve archives, and that will rebuild the site. And what will happen is you go into this URLs area here, and you will see initially just the one URL up here, and if you give it time, it's going to start going through the whole site. Now there's two things happening here. It's finding the links that are in the site as well. For for the pages being created. Okay, so it's going to start to rebuild those one by one, which means it's going to take some time. You can see here it's found 1,574 URLs from this particular domain, and that's going to take a further 25 days and 13 hours and 30 minutes to complete. Okay, it's got a cron job working in the background. We need to give it time to work. Okay, but at the same time, what is happening is it's rebuilding those pages, all of them, and it's also rebuilding the links that was in those pages, the internal links and the outbound links as well. This is quite incredible, and it doesn't even have to be a WordPress site previously. Okay, we're just rebuilding this from the HTML, which is kind of incredible. Now, if I come into, let's go into the pages in here. Oh, actually, wrong place. If I come down here, you can see we can edit the URL and edit the HTML. We changed it around. So if I want to add a link in here, I can edit the HTML. And what happens here is you will see this pops up. This area here pops up, and you can see we've actually got an HTML editor in here. So we can go in, we can add some media, we can add some links, etc. Now if I just come out of there quickly, and this is a tag site. You can see that that's actually a tag page. Okay, we want to find a page that's not a tag page. So I'm just going to go down to the bottom down here and see if we can find one. Okay, and what we can do then is we can add the links from here as well. Okay, so it kind of works like that. We can highlight, we can link, put the URL link in here, and it's going to add that link like a hyperlink. We will make this better over time as well, this WordPress plugin, so that it will look like a normal WYSIWYG editor within WordPress, like the old editor used to look. We will have it looking like that once we've done some further updates into WordPress Alpha. So you can see just an extra click and you can rebuild a whole website. You can do it without having to be WordPress site. I'll show you an example. iambuster.net, for example. I think that's the right domain. Looks like we've taken it down. This was a forum before, and it was looking like a forum. Let me just make sure that I've got the right domain. Okay, unfortunately I had screwed up there because I had let the expired domain actually expire. I've got a grace period on it. I can renew it. I hadn't checked in that particular Namecheap account for quite a while. And I've obviously missed the notifications coming via the email that I've got forwarded into another email that is being monitored in my support. So I can't show you that example right now, but it will build according to the HTML. It will build, even if it's a forum before, it's going to make it look like a forum. Okay, and it's going to rebuild all of those links. You won't be able to use it like a forum, like if it was a BB forum, for example. It's going to look like it in every way. Okay, the design, everything's going to look exactly the same, but you'll not be able to use it like a BB forum because it isn't really anymore. It's basically just a shell that looks like, which is good enough to get past some manual reviews, etc. as well. Now, what we want to do with those is just don't use them, overuse them if they're not WordPress sites before, because you cannot add the freshness in there unless you add a WordPress blog to it, and you want to start adding some blog posts to it. So we've got a little bit of work to do in that kind of situation where the site was not a WordPress site before, for the purpose of, you know, what we do with the new content we want to add there. So I would try and stick to the WordPress sites initially, unless you find a really good domain, which is going to be very, very, very good for you to use. Another one that we did have, which I've actually just taken down, was one called rssaggregator.org. And if I go in here, you can see the most details here was links to the homepage, 2.9 thousand links, like 2,900 links coming from 761 different domains, and it's got a spam score of 0. Now this is a perfect domain for building a PBN site on. The other one that we did want to look at there, the iambuster, I can't remember the details of that one. I don't think it was that great, but I wanted actually to buy that for the purpose of building a Black Hat forum. What I did in the meantime was just put up a website there, and you can see it only had 102 links, but coming from, it's almost a 50% ratio here. It's got 46 different domains. Another one that we found, and you can find a ton of these on YouTube, they are very, very good domains. Don't ignore the Majestic score for now until you start to add some content in. Then you will start to see that building up. And if you're really worried about things like Majestic, you can get people to do high trust flow links very, very inexpensively, and you don't need many of them. That will boost your trust flow score immensely, very, very quickly, depending on how many total links you've got coming into your site, of course. Okay, if you've got a site like this, it's only got 102 links coming into that home page. Then if I did 10 high trust flow links, that trust flow score is going to rocket up very, very fast, as long as they're coming from decent domains. Okay, and you can do this even from blog comments as well. I've seen people do that. Even gigsonfiverr.com do that from blog comments, and it will be okay for you as long as they keep it niche relevant. That's the only thing I would say there, and don't do too many. Okay, don't overdo it. Don't buy a gig that says they'll do like 500 comments from some kind of automation tool. You want to get somebody that will do it manually, so that they're picking up decent comments, and you're not getting a whole bunch of comments posted, and so there's backlinks there 1 minute, then they're starting to get removed. That's a big red flag. You don't want that. You want to do them manually if you want to do that. Anyway, so you can see that we can find some very, very good domains. So to build WordPress PBN network, even if the site wasn't WordPress before, you can literally do it in 4 or 5 clicks. Super simple. It's really, everything is automated as much as you could possibly imagine. And we're still not finished with the automation. We've still got more work to do, both with the Expired Domain Alpha plugin, with the VidSpy Alpha tool, and also with the WordPress Alpha application, because we want to be adding more hosting companies integrating. We've got hosts like Vultr, VULTR.com, who are very kind of similar to DigitalOcean, where they've got multiple location servers which we can add, and it's something that we'll just keep building out. So I just wanted to cover this so that people can understand what we can do, just one of the things that we can do using WordPress Alpha. So we can use for building a PBN, and the PBN sites can be done as easily as with 4 or 5 clicks. Really, it's that simple. It's not hard at all. You cannot build a PBN any easier. I've never seen anything so easy. That includes the content. Okay, now if you want to keep the freshness of the content, there are multiple tools, even just released recently, and we've even got one ourselves that we include with the Expired Domain Alpha plugins called Autoblog Alpha. But what you can find is you can find some really good tools that curate content. So they're using RSS feeds, okay, and they will pull in content from top sites. And what it will do is automatically spin that content. Now the key to using tools like that on a PBN site is this, that you do not do too many posts. You could do one every week, one every 2 weeks, and it's going to be sufficient going forward, okay? Even one every 2 weeks is going to be sufficient going forward. I would do the initial first few posts more quicker than that, maybe 2 a week for the first 6 or 8 weeks, okay? And then I would start to slow down, like one every week, and then slow down even more, one every 2 weeks, and just leave it like that. That will keep the freshness going. Okay, 1 a week is enough for these kind of sites. Now, what about backlinking your PBN sites? Well, you got to remember that we're buying expired domains because they have got backlinks. They've already got backlinks. This one here has already got 166 backlinks coming from 37 different domains. Okay, that 166 backlinks could be really beneficial if they are re-indexed, okay, because there's 166 backlinks coming in here, but they need to be re-indexed. All we need to do is get a hold of those and put them through an indexer. Now there is another tool called Link Control Alpha, which is another one of mine that we built specifically for the link control. So when we build out these PBN sites, and it's already rebuilding these links, okay, it's rebuilding the links within each and every post, the internal links, the outbound links that site had from that snapshot, that version that we chosen. Okay, what we do then is we immediately make all of the outbound links no follow. Okay, we make them no follow. That saves a lot of link juice going out. Okay, that makes that particular domain probably even more powerful than what it was before, unless they had no follow, because you're not letting any link juice go out. Okay, so that makes things a lot more powerful. And we can also do some stuff with the internal links as well. We can also go and look for other links that we really don't want and don't think should be in there. Links to shopping carts and stuff like that, and we can just make sure that they're no index, those particular links as well, so that they don't get followed, they don't get indexed, and they don't let your link just go out. So anyway, that's all I want to cover in this. But it's a nice little system, yeah. And don't forget as well, with those 12 hosts, you can use it for other sites as well. You know, if you really wanted to push it and get even more PBN sites, the way that you could do it, okay, is to use for what I call concept sites. So I might have like a free SEO tools site. I might have for a video marketing agency site, different concept. Each site has a concept, okay. It has a purpose that is maybe to get clients, or it's a purpose maybe to provide free tools, or it's got a purpose that it's giving something away. So it could be a free giveaway site, okay, get a free WordPress plugin. It could be a review site as well, some kind of concept, okay, that makes sense. You could do that and maybe add a few extra, squeeze a few extra domains like that. The other way you could do it is, of course, to put some sites up that you're going to just redirect via 301 redirect using the 301 redirection plugin, which we have got as well. The other thing we can do is we can put some local biz alpha sites on the same hosts. There's nothing to stop us from using these hosts for other things outside of PBN stuff. In fact, it would look more natural if we did, okay? It would look much more natural. So if you wanted to put 3 or 4 local biz alpha sites on those same hosts, each one of those, then you can build up your local biz alpha directory sites, which just automatically drive its own traffic, because they start ranking after a while. They start to rank and start to get indexed, they start to rank. And if you let that happen really naturally and put some AdSense on there, you can benefit from it. But I would not put the AdSense into those sites until you actually start to get some traffic. Okay, well, let them age a little bit, then put your AdSense in there so it doesn't hold you back. So that's it. That's all I really wanted to cover right now. And I think if you've got any questions, you can ask via the support. We will be starting up some kind of group again. I do have a couple of groups on Facebook, but I really don't like Facebook, guys. I really don't like Facebook at all. I went back in there for a day a couple of weeks ago, and I had so many messages and so many people saw me online, and I was just inundated with people asking me things. And I don't mind it if it's in a controlled environment like a group or something like that. But I was getting a lot of requests from other product creators as well, like, I've got a launch coming up and how are you? And everything's kind of fake. You know, there's nothing genuine about it. It's just like, hello, how are you? Nice to meet you, nice to see you again. Ask a couple of basic questions, trying to be friendly. Oh, by the way, I've got a launch coming up, will you email from me? Why don't you just say that at the beginning? Save me freaking time. Okay, and the answer is always going to be, I've got my launch promotions sorted out. If you have a promotion, you need to tell me well in advance, because I've got my own promotions to do, and I don't promote more than one thing per week anymore. Okay, so I have to go through that whole rigmarole of those conversations from people who are really not being genuine at all, and it kind of annoys me. And the whole Facebook scene just bothers me. So maybe we'll find a way to do it in Slack or something like that. I will not do Skype again. Because we had some issues with people I had to kick out, and it just kept coming back in. They can come back into your Skype groups now, so I'm not going to allow that to happen. We need to find a different platform. So if anybody's got any suggestions for that, I'm always up for it. Maybe Slack we can do it, but I'm not sure that we can prevent people coming in once you've kicked them out, or keep a group closed. That it needs to be closed, so that we can get the best out of it, without any spammers or nuisances hanging around when you've asked them to leave because they were out of order, okay, which inevitably happens with these kind of groups. It takes all kinds of people, doesn't it? So anyway, I hope that was kind of good information for you, how you can build a very, very good PBN network, and very inexpensively as well. Because when you think about it, what we've got going on here for those 12 servers, if it's $60 a month and you put in 24 sites, that is actually good value, okay? As long as you understand as well that you can use these PBN sites really for linking to the same domain, not too many times, but you can do it a few times, but you want to use it for linking out to other sites as well. So you need to have a very good outbound linking strategy that is not all about links to your own sites, okay? You want to have a good outbound linking strategy that's going to relevant sites and sometimes semi-relevant sites as well, where it makes sense. And I will cover all of that in the PBN course when we get around to it. And we do have a PBN course that we did, I think, a few months ago, that will basically, it kind of has gone by the wayside because everything just keeps improving as far as the automation that we can do. And we've got it now down to an art where we can actually build a whole PBN network for 5 clicks per site, which is just crazy, crazy stuff. It wasn't that long ago I did a webinar series that was over 6 weeks, all about building PBNs. And we did one for PBNs and we did another one for press releases. Both of them took 6 weeks. And the amount of detail that went into each of those particular webinar series was kind of intense. It was a lot of work to put that together. And now all the stuff is irrelevant from PBN stuff. Really is irrelevant now because we had done the 6 weeks free training, plus I had done a premium course called PBN Masterclass that came with that as well for people who wanted to upgrade. And we only introduced that upgrade after week 6, when we got to week 6, I should say, okay? And because of that, then we made some sales for the PBN Masterclass. And it just seemed a lot of work at that time, and it wasn't that long ago. Now we can build these sites in 5 clicks. Now we can build these sites with the settings already done. The settings that I spent maybe 2 or 3 weeks teaching people about can be done in a click. Everything's crazy like that now. We've got those opportunities. We've got better tools now, like the easy blog networks. You've got better tools for finding the expired domains, even Spamzilla, I think it's called. You can find places that will sell you expired domains that have already been filtered for spam. Okay, you go to, I think it's called pbnhq.com or hqpbn.com, something like that, where they actually do a very, very good job there. And it's the same guys that run the Spamzilla tool as well. And you got more and more complicated tools available as well that maybe cost like $100 a month. It's kind of like agency level stuff if you're doing that kind of level. But what we can do with just these little tools I've introduced you to today and explained to you to work with the WordPress Alpha is very, very powerful. Okay, we don't have to overthink it. We don't have to go too deep. We do want to be careful, which I will cover how to in the PBN course, but even that can be simplified as well. All right, guys, thank you.